The incelification of Gen Z. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Uh-oh. Here you go.
Answer this one question. When was the last time you met someone naturally? No dating apps, not online, but a genuine interaction in the real world. I'm guessing...
Yeah. Wow.
For most of you, it was quite a while ago. But if you're in Generation Z, it possibly has never even happened. And that's not an accident. Most people we see these days are cashiers, co-workers, people rushing around, delivery drivers.
I talk to the cashier whenever I go to the gas station. I'm like, what up, bro? How you doing? Like, I mean, 'cause I see him all the time. Like, I feel like you want to count that. I mean, that's easy. But, like, I was talking about some of you're, like, friends with, you know?
We pass by, not people we get to know. Interactions are often just transactions.
Yeah, exactly.
Before dating apps turned relationships into a marketplace, the stage was already set years ago. Just think about an average day. You work from home.
See, I was an incel before dating apps. I was doing this before it was cool.
And your groceries get delivered. You tap your phone to pay, no words exchanged. Self-checkout at the shops, takeaway dropped to your door by someone who doesn't make eye contact, or maybe doesn't even speak the same language as you.
That's right.
It's so easy to go days without meaningful human interaction. Most interactions you do have are transactional, unless you're one of the lucky few who finds a club, society, or just something to connect with people. And even then, it's probably shoved into a small corner of your routine.
I have that lamp.
We live in a touchless society, and like anything, if you don't use it, you lose it. Intimacy, sex, and love are just no different. And unlimited access to adult content really capitalized on this moment.
I went to get
I
more
think it's
pizza.
also, like, the thing is that social media fucked up a lot of people's standards. Is that now people are looking at AI girls and saying, I deserve somebody like that. Actually, nobody does, because the bitch ain't even real. But you're sitting there thinking that, and it fucks up your brain. And I think this happens with girls and guys. It's not just it's not one or the other, it's both.
What?
Consume and wrap things up.
Everyone
your
deserves.
sexual desire and
Everyone
move on with your
deserves
day.
us.
Super easy
What
and
you
truly
saying,
the
Asmo?
simplest exchange for pleasure imaginable, really. But it's also shallow, takes away your drive, it's temporary satisfaction with diminishing returns.
Yep.
And like any addiction, you merely fill the gaps without addressing the root causes. And the brain is adapted to all of this. Dating apps started with a promise to breach a gap that most of their founders and investors had started. I mean, get
I
this
think
one. One of the Tinder CEOs.
also social media made people more aware of the unfairness of dating and the inequality of it. Like, whenever they see, like, some random girl getting, like, you know, millions of dollars for being attractive on OnlyFans, or, like, they see a guy that's good looking that has, like, you know, 5 different girls talking to him, like, most people don't really see that a lot in real life, because it's just, you know, by the nature of extremes, it's an outlier, so people don't see it a lot. But then whenever the internet shows people these options and these possibilities, I think it creates a self-radicalization
No, internet is not a
spiral.
mistake. Boomers are a mistake.
Just left in 2022 and immediately launched Mino, an AI chatbot to fight loneliness. There's now a thriving loneliness economy that Silicon Valley talks about all the time. There are even venture capital companies that focus exclusively on this. We made a video about the entire loneliness economy before.
The reason why people are lonely is that there are no third spaces anymore. That's places that are not education or work that people go to and interact with other people. And to the extent that there are any of them, they're almost always, you know, not gender diverse.
But it's not the only.
So, like, you know, for example, there's, like, you know, you go to the Warhammer card shop. Okay, it's all guys, right? It's all guys. Maybe one guy's wife comes in and she says, "Carl, you said you'd be home an hour ago." Guys, I gotta go.
Perfect vector for exploitation. Sell people the solution to the problem you helped create. It's the oldest trick in the book, but the impacts are totally new to us. And that's why they're doing so much damage. We're even inventing new language to deal with this. Remember that cringily soulless word meet-cute?
In fact, I don't go to places like this because they are expensive to me. But I would participate in many of these if I had money.
People started using years ago.
I never heard
it
that.
popped up on social media as a way to describe meeting someone that you exchange numbers with for a date. For example, at a coffee shop.
I've actually never done that. I have never done that, not even once in my life.
or a bookshop when looking for the same book.
Never.
Just think about the fact that we actually developed a new word for the crazy phenomenon of just meeting someone organically. It should have set off alarm bells, right? It was an early sign that society was changing in a way that made meeting people in real life the exception and not the rule. It's no coincidence that the word started being used a lot around
because like the thing is, like, if you can find a girl on the internet, right, you look her up on Facebook and it's like, okay, she's pretty hot. Then you look her mom up and then you see her mom's fat and you're like, well, fuck, like, I'm not gonna invest in this. Like, who wants to invest in a company that's going down like this? If you know the company's gonna go bankrupt in 5 years, you gonna go and invest in that company? What if her mom's hot? Well, then you talk to her.
15, the same time dating
I mean, what?
apps blew up. And in the last decade, dating declined to the point where the majority of Generation Z today just don't know or really have any way to meet people.
50% of men aged 18 to 24 have never approached a woman in person in their life.
Yeah.
And
but she's
even
not
a higher percentage, 18 to 30, haven't approached a woman in the last year.
In recent years,
yeah, she has a
meaning
bit of a belly,
school
but
workplace have just vanished.
I mean,
think about the place that you grew up as an example. Pubs, bars,
she had
libraries,
me
high
and my
street shops.
brother.
How many are actually left
it's
today?
expected
And if any, how
much,
busy even
all
she's
gone,
far from
all gone
being,
except one card shop.
Yeah, she's kind of far from being fat.
Since COVID, we just shuttle ourselves from home to work to the gym to the supermarket and home. You don't really just go to the village market. There is no real town, square or hall. You're not really bumping into anyone. Even a bit of small talk with someone at the bus stop just feels weird and awkward. Making eye contact with someone on public transport will get you a look that leaves you wondering if you're insane.
So much of what makes somebody good at dating is different now than it was 50 years ago.
You can see it in the way coffee shops have changed.
I can't really comment on that. I don't know.
Almost every cafe is bland, empty, just minimalist. Almost as if they're designed purely as a conveyor belt of coffees and customers, getting us in and out as quickly as possible to extract the most amount of money they can. But can you remember the time when a stereotype
I can accept some more fat if it comes with some booba because I need it.
cafe was like this? With big sofas, comfy chairs.
We had a place like this. It went out of business because nobody bought anything. People just showed up and smoked weed, and they brought beer and they'd just get drunk. Yeah, it really, we had one, it lasted for like 3 years.
People together to talk, and people just walking up to someone to say something without it being creepy. The show Friends was based on just reality in the 90s, and it's all part of a much wider pattern, one that's seemingly threatening humanity.
That this is actually a potentially existential crisis. Humans really do meet
the grandma sitting in the gaming chair.
Of an endangered species.
Because meeting people and building relationships is really the most important thing for human survival. It's often the key indicator in determining your lifespan. It's how we have replacement rates in just the population. But with this last decade and the disappearance of so many communal spaces where our parents and grandparents had opportunities to randomly meet new people,
another big issue is that there's no shared common culture. Like, for example, in, the 50s, from what I hear, right, 60s from what I hear, is that there was much more of a established way of pursuing a woman or pursuing a man. But now, like, for example, there are women that whenever they tell you no, they want you to continue pursuing them. There are women that like this, and they like being hard to get, and they think that it's a game, it's a narrative to them, it's like romantic in their mind. Now, in my opinion, I think it's ridiculous.
No, I would tell about my perspective. My perspective here, at least for what I see, my quote-unquote female friends, because as I said, I don't have friends here. They're quote-unquote like acquaintances that, oh, Jesus Christ, tell, and it's the following, like, they complain so much lately that they are satisfied enough when someone actually talks with her. But it depends on the person, and it depends on the place. Mainly on the place, I would say, than anything else. But, yeah, that very known phrase, like, the mans are not coming, I think it's like that, right? That you guys say that men are not coming. Like it's becoming more and more real. Yeah.
Playing games with me, I'm not a PlayStation, get the fuck out of here. But at the same time, there is a shared cultural expectation that a certain degree of that could be, acceptable.
So they are not complaining a lot, like, oh, but I will deny then keep like him boiling here and keep him frying. Like at least from my circle here, I don't see this behavior at all. Like they became more straightforward. As I say, like a guy approaches her and talks with her. If he do so, like she will decline for ons already, or she will accept it, just like that.
But whenever you bring in people from a bunch of different cultures and you have a
this is only from my social circle. Okay, guys, I'm not saying that everywhere he is like that. I don't know. And I'm not a social person too, as you guys say. See, I'm here like most of the time, yeah.
Segmentation and a fragmentation of the culture where some people think that asking twice is like basically sexual harassment, and other people think that asking twice is meaning that you mean it. You have a huge problem of, basically shared culture. And I think this is another reason why this has become so problematic in America. It's because there has been a breakdown of what these shared rules of engagement are between men and women.
Dating apps has meant we're seeing a gap try to be filled that wasn't a natural one.
25.
This is a void created by the same economic forces that hollowed out our third space as chains and corporate landlords. The same forces that funded these apps promising to replace what was destroyed. And dating apps didn't discover a gap in the market, one was just torn open and then monetized. But it was a lie. That too was all about getting your money. Think about it, the whole idea of a dating app as a viable business is a paradox. If they actually help people into relationships, then
they lose the customer.
Clearly lose business. One good match is 2 lost customers. So instead, they design the apps to fail, and in doing so, keep us hooked on using them. And in turn,
I've never used a dating app before.
What better way to keep an active user base than by having relationships designed to be short-term? This is your capacity to fall in love, to build a family, to find meaning. All your data, all your most vulnerable desires is just slowly converted into swipes and push notifications so someone else can hit their quarterly growth targets. Your relationship is designed to not be long-term. It's why men
I know a lot of people that have met their girlfriend or wife on a dating app. I think it's pretty possible.
Up 75% of Tinder users and women just 25%.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, the co-founder of the dating site OkCupid wrote a book revealing what actually happens behind the scenes of dating apps. Women, as you'd expect, receive an average of 4 to 5 messages a week, which even that seems unlikely to be this low. 90% of men received an average of 0 messages.
An average of 0? Well, that's not very good, is it?
That's good average.
Only at the extreme end of the attractiveness scale do the best...
Wait, I think I watched the video. I don't think I watched it with Asmo reacting to it, but I think I watched this video before. I think I also react to this one. I'm not sure.
Men receive around 1 to 2 messages.
But there's also a lot of men who are relying on dating apps who are never going to get the matches that they desire. Either because they are short or because they are bald.
So as many of us are...
What a fucking bitch! I hate this bitch! What is this?
If you're not in the top 10%, there's really no point in using them. It's something that's called mate suppression in practice, and we'll get onto that more soon.
And the reality is, for 95% of guys, online and dating apps aren't going to be a fruitful place for them to meet women.
But what we're seeing right now is that Generation Z's entire prospect...
Asmo doesn't need to be worried, though. Isn't Keisha that wants to be Asmo's girlfriend or something? I remember some meme like that.
...of finding love is based on the ELO rating system.
You're dating Elo.
Numerical method developed to rank players in games like chess.
Oh my god.
Player score determines how strong or weak they are in relation to others. So your ability to find love is seemingly literally being run through the same maths we use to decide who's good at chess or League of Legends. It's why whenever you join these apps, you get tons of matches, then suddenly they just fade away. You'll be told this is a personal failure, but oftentimes it's not.
Well, it is a personal failure. It's basically you're ugly, and so people swipe left on you, and so they stop showing you to other people because they don't want people. Basically, you have to keep in mind that these dating apps, their best interest is to keep people engaged. So in the process of keeping people engaged, you want to show people that are engaging. And so if you have a person that has a swipe through rate of 98%, then guess what? You're not going to show that person a lot, because if you do that, then it's going to increase the probability that that person isn't going to use your app because the app is showing them something that's statistically unlikely to be attractive. It's just common sense. Like, you look at the way the numbers are.
From sorting you to the bottom unless you pay a ton of money. And this created a dangerous dynamic that has now permeated the world of dating. One where women select the same group of the most attractive men who have almost exclusive access to women, who then become less interested in lots of these girls because they are then seen as too easy. The effect of this is that dating is seemingly a low trust marketplace, as the entire way to attract is seemingly detachment and not through connection. It's always a contest of who cares the least, who can take the longest to message back, who's more aloof, disinterested, and who holds the power in the struggle to not care about the other. In other words, it's a game.
Let me tell you something. Like, this is my relationship advice. I don't have a girlfriend. Is that I think I should just always preface it with that, right? Just always, every single time. Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, this is my message 9 months later. So there are people I regularly don't message back for like weeks at a time. And that's just the way it is. And so it looks like Rainbow Siege. Yeah, definitely. So if you have to play the I'm not going to message you back game, the odds are that person is a waste of your time. It's just the way it is.
A game where almost everyone is bound to lose. That your whole life? You can now see it on reality TV with game shows where heartbreak is entertainment.
Yeah, he didn't say something actually mysterious or a new knowledge to society. It's common sense.
But what's the message we're supposed
It's always been that case.
To get from this? Romance isn't sacred, it's just a contest, which all leads to the loneliness epidemic, and this one's hitting the youngest the hardest. But it's not just dating. Our whole modern society is stacked against any of us meeting someone, getting married, or even having children. And the consequences of this will change.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, out of all my friends, like, I thought about this, obviously, this is the kind of shit you think about when you're 35. But, like, every single one of my friends is either married or has kids. Like, there's one exception, but, like, this dude's had the same fucking girlfriend. He's like, oh, we're engaged. They've been engaged for 15 years. They're fucking married, okay?
God.
So, besides this one guy, every single guy I know has either been married, is married.
I know couples that are, like, engaged for 10, 15 years, 12 years. I know some couples like that, actually. Actually, it's very common. But I think here people are avoiding that because marriage expenses are so fucking abusive that people are just not willing to pay for them at all.
Or has kids. That's crazy.
The world as we know it. Because there's something else catching up with us.
Also, the communist government that my country has already granted the same rights to a woman that is married here too, but is engaged with a guy, even though they don't have any legal papers or anything. The government granted all the rights as a legal married woman to juridically speaking. Like if the guy the guy is engaged for 10 years with her, but they never married. If they separate, if they finish their relationship, the woman can still have like half of their stuff and blah, blah, half of his stuff and blah blah blah.
Our bodies are starting to fail and lose the capacity to produce children at all. You know what they found recently? Microplastics in human testicles. Human testicles contain nearly 3 times as much plastic as dog testicles.
Oh my god.
We're literally marinating our reproductive organs in synthetic
So
polymers.
based.
It's one of the many explanations as to why male sperm counts have dropped by more than 40% since 1970.
Yep.
Average sperm count could even hit near zero at the current
What? That sounds like bullshit.
trajectory. Even if a situation that extreme doesn't transpire, there are plenty of other things to worry about.
Yeah.
Like the forever chemicals in non-stick pans and waterproof jackets, BPA in your water bottles, or the nasty
There is nowhere to run, right, guys? There is nowhere to run. The population decrease will happen one way or another.
chemicals in your shampoo. I mean, just the list goes on. Even simple stuff like drinking hot coffee out of plastic takeaway cups. We just live in a world now saturated with endocrine disruptors. And surprise, surprise, our endocrine systems are getting disrupted by all of this garbage we're pumping into our bodies daily. But even if you've somehow avoided the chemical assault, even if your fertility is
I didn't even notice the thing.
fine, there's another huge problem vying against us. How many of your friends between the ages of 18 and 30 have kids?
I would say that inside of my friend group, how many of them had kids inside of 18 to 30? Sample size of... Let me think sample size of how many people. Let me think of
Let me think here. It's actually interesting. Yeah, I would say that the people I know here, from the people I know, the spectrum that I know, I would say 80% of them have kids. Or they are single moms, which is half or a bit more of the people I know. Or they are actually married couple with kids.
like just the 30 people that I know that like at first.
Yeah, 80%, Joshua, around that, more or less. I'm just a guess based on the people that I could remind here out of my mind. But when we look at the data about my country, I think it sits in 1.6 kids. In the country.
30 people come to mind. I'd say like 40 to 60%, somewhere around there.
None until this year or last. Is anyone planning to have kids? How about those who said they don't even want kids? We just push everything later and later back. Education, work, financial stability, and for the middle classes especially, that pushes back having a family.
Of course.
Because you only have a family when it's really sensible to you, right? That's just the middle class value. Rich people don't worry, and poorer people don't worry.
No, they don't.
Nothing changes our biological clock when it comes to fertility. Women over 35 are considered advanced maternal age, and honestly 35 is starting to look young to have kids for millions of people around the world. However, at 35...
I would say that most of the births here happens with women because, Brazilian women start having sex too much soon because it's socially acceptable here. Like... You find girls with 11, 12, 13 years old that already had sex or already are pregnant or already have kids. It's not that difficult to find here, okay? It's socially acceptable. People accept that shit. Even though the legal age for you to have sex with a person here is 14. To have sex. Is 14 years old. But you find kids with less age, like with kids already. Kids with kids, literally.
Miscarriage rates nearly double. The chance of
your kid can be all kinds of fucked up if you have a kid over 40. My mom was 40 when she had me. Ah, wow. How about that, huh?
Chromosomal abnormalities skyrockets. Down syndrome risk goes from something like 1 in 1,250 of 25 to 1 in 100 of 40.
Chromosome, I hear that?
It's not just mothers. Older fathers contribute too. Men over 45 show increased risk for autism, schizophrenia, even still birth in their partners. Having kids into the 40s, 50s, and way higher for men at least is now becoming super common. Every year you wait, you're rolling dice with higher and higher stakes. But what else do you do? Shrug your shoulders and say it's too late and just plummet towards old age without the family you ever wanted and live an unsatisfying life. Well, if you don't want that, when natural conception fails, you can only turn to IVF. This is often the modern solution.
Yes, that's welcome. We are talking about babies.
Trump reduced this by a lot. To be fair. But
medications, there's another $5,000, and most people need multiple cycles. So you're looking at around 30,000 to 50,000 minimum, often much, much more. And this leads down a dark path where we're forced to engineer more of the process of just having kids. Genetic testing in the womb. Testing for Down syndrome is one thing, but some companies will now screen for height and IQ.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, if you're gonna have a manlet that's only like 6'1", I mean, you might as well just kill it. I mean, just kill him right now, right? I mean, let's not even. It's just so cruel to allow him. Like, he's gonna be 5'9". Just kill him. And listen, Sparta used to do that, right? They take the baby. The baby's small, off the cliff. That's the way it is.
An ethical black hole in every front for men and women. Women are the childbearers, they shoulder a lot of the risk here, and male dating culture doesn't think about this enough because everyone is turning against each other. If you've seen our video on population collapse, you'll know that fertility rates are just collapsing. Countries like the USA and the UK are seeing the lowest childbirth numbers in
nothing compared to Korea too.
Histories. It's not just a stat, it's millions of people who...
Nah, Korea might be worse, right, guys? Right? Right? Yeah. Might be worse, right? Yeah.
Always imagined they'd have a partner and family one day, now quietly aging out to that possibility. Family lines ending not because people don't want love, but because our environment makes acting on that desire impossible. Ask yourself, even if you did meet the right person, what would stop you from having children? Probably not enough money, no chance of being able to buy a house anytime soon.
Yeah, if people don't want to have...
Financial situation probably is the main reason of people not wanting to have kids, of all of them.
Have a kid and, like, you know, have this kid, put it in. I blame feminism, I think.
And also, yeah, he's correct. He's correct to blame feminism. Feminism put 50% more people to work and made the men's monthly income decreases because now you have a lot more people competing for the same amount of jobs, you know? So you can pay them less, and women started like having their own money. And because now we started to have our own money, we wanted to aim for guys with the same money or more than what we have now. And this is how we end up here.
If, you know, honestly, I think there's like 50
Hello,
reasons.
Bender.
I think women being obnoxious is one of them, but I think women think men are awful too.
Yeah,
like,
feminism is definitely not the only
This is the problem is that a lot of it, people look at it from like a guy's perspective, but like, I know why women hate men.
But it's
because I've read women's
one
zines.
of these.
Damn. Like some guys, like really, like, I mean, did you really have to send her a picture of your dick after you said good morning? Like, you don't even know her. Why would you do that?
Yeah, don't do that in my country. You will be arrested.
Why would you send her a picture?
I mean, don't do that anywhere, but here you can be arrested if you do it. A plus.
Picture of your dick. Why would you do? You don't even know her name.
Cost of living is probably too high on your city.
I don't get
transport. The cost of childcare is more than your current salary. There are just no good schools in your area, or no school places in areas with good schools.
Ustaz said, so we need to ban women from working. It's not ban women from working. I think we have all types of jobs, all types of work that are specifically made for women. Specifically, fields that are since always, like since before feminists even, that women use it to work that were just a few, and of course the majority of women weren't actually working. It was the minority. For example, teachers and stuff like that, you know? So it's not all of them, but yes, the majority of types of jobs that nowadays women like actually work with should be distinguished.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is, honestly, guys, I talked about this before. I don't think this is reversible. This is already in women's brains, you know? Like, this is irreversible. Like, women will just not go back to the way that it was before feminism. For example, I myself don't even know how it was like before. After all, like, I'm in my 20s. How long it has, huh? How the fuck long it has? I don't know. I don't even know how it was before.
Just finding a wife that you can trust.
Am I talking about me? That I'm a person that sees all of the bullshits that are happening. You know, that I'm you know, that I'm on you guys' side. You know, and now talk about a feminist woman. You know, how you gonna reverse a mind like that back?
Won't divorce you and take half of your money.
True.
It's probably all of the above. It's not just an economic problem. Based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all the stuff we need like love and marriage and family are just the basics. It's the same importance in life as having food, water, a roof over our heads. The funny thing is that the way this hierarchy was sold to us in the 20th century made it sound like family came after you'd finally self-actualized. You've nailed the career, the money, the personal growth.
Well, that's usually the way it used to be, right? Is like the idea was that you would find a girlfriend in like high school or college or early in the work potentially, and then as your career is getting more popular and you're doing better, then you get married and have kids, right? And like this all happens between like 23 to like 29 or 30, right? This is what happens. That's so unrealistic now. Well, I'm just saying, like, growing up, that's what they would tell me.
Now for a family. In reality, for most people, that self-actualization replaced family altogether. There was always one more phase of working on myself first, so we ended up with a whole culture optimized for individual self-maximization, while family quietly got pushed off the edge of the pyramid. Today, most of us, let alone Generation Z, never even get past the bottom layers. Housing, money, community, security, it's all unstable. And when your foundation is shaking, you can't climb to the levels where belonging, intimacy, and family even become possible. The system keeps us stuck in survival.
I mean, if you're stuck trying to afford food, it's hard to figure out where the hoes are. You know, like, that's just the way it is. This shit's a bummer. No, it's serious. It's the way it is.
Survival mode.
I don't think what he said.
The system keeps us stuck in survival.
I mean, if you're stuck trying to afford food, it's hard to figure out where the hoes are.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, it reminds me the pyramid of Maslow. Right?
You know, like, that's just the way it is. This shit's a bummer. No, it's serious. It's the way it is.
Survival mode, but gaslights us for not reaching love. Do you ever lie in bed scrolling through people's social media?
If you ever try to survive, you're always in survival mode all the time. Like, how you free yourself, like your own head, to think in things besides surviving. Besides, when it's gonna be my next meal, when it's gonna be the next time I will drink water, things, very basic stuff like that. You know, like, if you're always worried with that, how you gonna put your mind in something else?
Engagements, weddings, honeymoons, kids, it feels like you're...
But of course, sex is one of the first degrees of the pyramid. I don't remember which one it is. I don't remember.
Watching real life from behind glass as time seems to disappear from...
I don't, actually. Like, I never look at this shit. I just look at, videos of myself. I look at a lot of videos of myself. I watch myself. See what people are saying.
And it's not just about missing out on dates, it's that we're missing out on the opportunity to build something lasting. Something to have outside of ourselves. Something to connect us with beauty in the world. Somehow starting a family is considered a luxury for the rich.
It is.
A luxury for a select
of
few in society who don't have to worry about the housing market. They don't have to worry about the dating crisis. They own several homes. That money and security is attractive to other women. They don't need to worry about schools. They can send their kids to the best private schools anywhere in the world. And the thing is, this isn't an accident. Decades of decisions driven by corporate greed, short-term profits, and a culture that worships work.
Yep, Yeah, I talked about this before in many other live streams and react videos that I did. This is all by design, all made by big corporations and government. This is intentional, so they don't have like competition. It's like I said, these big corporations, these oligarchies, these huge monopolies, they have like big structured families with tons and tons of kids. And they know that what actually makes them thrive are a strong, united family, and that pass the work through their own family by itself. You know, the company that the grandparent like of his like did is still being carried on by him and will be carried on by his grandson of future. And they know the importance of this more than anything. And that's why they destroy the family. That's one of the reasons of why they want to destroy the family. Not what they did destroy. They destroyed the family already. This is the reason that they do that. And they know that a strong family can build real competition to that, because you can start a family business and you grow up, and one day you would be competition to them, So that's why they monopolize the government to themselves, So they cannot have like other companies besides them power, because the government creates more and more complications to the ones trying to grow, so making it impossible. So they stay there as eternal monopolies. And while at the same time they ruin they are ruining the very basis of all of this before it starts, like in the family itself, destroying the family too. So they destroy the financial system, the capitalism as it should be, by the way, and created this meta capitalism, so only they thrive, and they are also destroying the family. Yeah. So they don't have strong families like them. Competing to rule the world.
The family has left us here. Those at the top are allowed to have family. They're able to have more kids. And even
I think this was always the case, actually. I think it always was, but like now it's just gotten to be so extreme that it's problematic.
And they're still not having that many. Like in Idiocracy, where you'll get these upper class people debating whether it's a good idea.
Oh yeah. Idiocracy, getting old like wine, right? Getting aging like wine. Oh my god.
You can have one child. So how can you expect an undervalued, underpaid worker class to ever be able to have the time, money, or even possibility of raising a family? Especially as more and more governments cut childcare, youth services, community centers, third spaces, police numbers, the list just goes on.
It's bad.
But the effect down the line is just a less safe, less connected society that is not replacing itself. Huge populations in the entire Anglosphere are just disappearing over time. And this is where it gets interesting, because if you think about the West 150 years ago, it wasn't like we were even that much richer. So many people struggled, poverty was rife, the poor worked insane hours, but they still had families, often large ones. So what actually changed? Well, religious communities and spaces, shared culture, social traditions and rituals, these safety nets that help people to share life's burdens.
Yeah, there's no shared culture. And also I think that it's harder for like a guy to like, I think, get a girlfriend in a lot of cases, because a lot of guys don't really know how to talk to girls. That's another big issue. Like, for example, it's like, what do you talk to this thing about, right? Like, what do you ask it what its day is like? I don't know what the fuck to say to it, man. Like, oh my god, bro. Like, can we just skip this part? Like, this is just so fucking annoying.
Erased. Modernity has completely stripped away all the essentials that make replacing your population just a natural part of human evolution.
And then that's whenever you send them a picture of your dick. That's right. And now...
Yeah. And instead of having the whole conversation now, guys, just go and send a picture of dick. Yeah.
The police are here, and apparently there's something called sexual harassment. Like, what the fuck?
And I'd say the most infuriating part of this fertility collapse is when we're just supposed to pretend that people's decision to not have children is simply a personal choice, and not one imposed upon us by oppressive social structures. This isn't a problem.
I think there's a lot of reasons. I think that also people don't have kids because of their career in a lot of cases too. That's a big factor, huge factor.
Africa or other developing parts of the world, and yet somehow the rich West can't even replace its population levels.
Yep.
And we can't just blame the rich and powerful here. Much of the progress we celebrate today is just part of the problem.
Well, and it's also like people consume media that makes them hate the other gender. I think that's another really big factor, is that they're consuming media that makes them fucking hate men or hate women. And so they spend all their time looking at this and then they're crashing out. Like, yeah, duh, of course they are, because you're just getting fed a constant diet of men bad, women bad, etc. You're watching me. Yeah, you watch me all day and you...
In fact, like, pseudo-brain saying something interesting. Like, nowadays we typically have next to nothing in common. Here we are gathered around foxes, but on the street. And, you know, it made me think, like, imagine if every community online would be, like, physically impacting the society as they do online. Wouldn't that be crazy? Imagine just like, you know, I don't know. It's complicated, but would it be such a good thing to see, by the way? Yeah. Because you will just notice that the loud side that speaks online probably wouldn't be the loud side speaking in reality. Because a huge part of these sites is actually bots.
Hate women. Of course, duh. Obviously.
We created a massive middle class, and when you look at who's actually having kids, it's not a straight line from rich to poor.
Yep.
It's a U-shape. The wealthy have kids. Elon Musk has 12 children. Nick Cannon has 12. Robert De Niro just had his...
See, this is what I was talking about to you guys. These grand families, like these billionaires, these big corpos, these huge meta-capitalist corporations, they have dozens of kids. And they make the impossible to make your life impossible to everyone.
7th at age 79. The working class or populations in poorer countries have tons of kids too. Africa's population is booming. Often when work prospects are lower and pay is worse, kids become a lifeline. Life priorities put family before career advancement because career advancement really isn't on the table anyway. There's nothing controversial about this. This was always what it used to be like before countries became industrialized and the middle class blew up. Families had loads of kids first because infant mortality was high, and second...
Yeah, you gotta just... I mean, honestly, you gotta have like 6 or 7 kids. That way, like, you know, like 3 of them just gonna get popped off, like, I don't know, like some fucking wolf or some shit, right? And then there's apparently a tiger. Found that out, you know, where's Billy? Well, I mean, like, you didn't even give a kid a name, right? Like, they used to not even give kid names until they had a certain amount of age, right? Like, it's like, this kid's like, you know, now, all right, you know, he's 5. All right, let's call him, well, let's call him Ed. How about that? They don't have names.
Because it means
like,
more family
1,
income
2, and 3.
and higher overall chances of survival. The middle class, though, they're getting absolutely...
And then somebody said also, it's a good point, right, is you have to also have another kid so you can ritualistically sacrifice it for the, for rain.
Crushed, and they're dying quite literally because of that. First, the middle class is associated with...
So I really see. I think it should be free for all to get, you know. And the one of the reasons that I believe that capitalism is not working as it's supposed to, I'm not saying that it's the perfect system, but it should be working better than the way that it's now. And it's not working is because of the meta-capitalism of these huge monopolies that only exist because the government is there to guarantee that they will always succeed alone.
Hard work and career aspirations. The self-actualization I talked about earlier. So immediately there's an additional cost. Childcare, because most middle-class households have dual incomes. No one wants to give up the career.
But of course, don't get me wrong, it's better than socialism. Anything is better than socialism.
Society marketed to them all
their
life.
Anything is better than commies.
What's also the issue is that, like, I mean, in my opinion, like, I'm a traditional kind of guy, is that the right way of doing things is that you get married, and then after you get married, then you know, the wife stays at home and the guy takes care of her. Like, that's the way to do it that works. Now there's other ways to do it, but that's the way that works. And so, you know, I've been doing this for thousands of years. Doesn't mean the woman doesn't do anything, right? But it's like, that's the way it's been working. And so traditional is best, exactly. But the problem...
It works in other ways. We are not saying that it doesn't work. For example, my own parents. You cannot say that they didn't work, but of course, like we are talking about an older generation, you know. It's not like, for example, with my generation or Gen X is facing, you know. But both my mom and my dad always worked, always, both of them. But even so, I became a good person, or at least I think I am. I succeeded comparing to the other peers around me. Even though I wasn't created by this traditional family where only the men work and the woman stays at home taking care of the kids, you know? My mom had to work too. It's still work up until this very day.
It's like, number one, most guys can't afford that. And number two, a lot of people don't get married. So whenever you're like a girl, you know, you're a stay-at-home girlfriend for 5 years, and then your boyfriend kicks you to the curb.
But yeah, I forgot to finalize saying, like, but yeah, it's more likely that a man working to stay at home while the woman is only worried with provide a good home to the husband and to the kids, you know, succeeds a lot more than all the other possibilities. So anything different that you may try will decrease your chances of you have a successful family.
Well, now you don't have any alimony. You're not making any money. You're just basically like stuck. Because there's also another factor is that women have a period like between like 18 and like I'd say like 30, 35, sometimes even less, where they're going to be attractive and guys are going to want to spend time and money on them naturally. And it's like if there's a 40-year-old chick, like some guy isn't probably as involved or doesn't care. Like, okay, she can be successful maybe, but like he doesn't give a shit about that, right? He just wants some chick that he's able to just kind of, you know, like, you know, take care of, and that's it. The clock's ticking, exactly. So like if you're a woman and you're dating a guy for like 4 years and it's between the ages of like you're like 23 to like 27, let's say, and then it doesn't work out, well, you just lost a huge component of those people, right? And that's the big issue, right? Tried wife here, had our first baby at home, husband works his ass off for it. Yeah, exactly, right? And so, okay, viewers, people go so crazy. Guys, why don't you relax the fucking viewer count? Who gives a fuck? And so anyway, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, what was I saying before I got confused? And anyway.
Yeah, I have more 4 or 5 years to think about before selecting a new partner.
Anyway, industry titans and wanted the workplace in there. Yeah, sure, right? And like just overall, what I think happens is that you have people that, you know, I mean, like they can't take care of a family. They're not making enough money.
Or I would just
and then you have these women
and
they don't get married. And so now there's no investment between the two people and it just gets worse.
Kitchen table with a spreadsheet, mortgage, student loans, car payments, health insurance.
You're a moron about this. Women are awful. They're 100% of the problem. Yeah, yeah.
Insurance,
So,
retirement savings,
right.
they're already behind.
I hate them.
And then childcare that costs their rent. So they wait and wait. They're being sensible, and by the time they feel ready, realize the biological clock never stopped. This is the low fertility trap that threatens everyone. The working poor have kids they can't quite afford. The rich have as many as they want, but the middle class, the people who followed all the rules of their life, maximized their education, delayed gratification, well, they're getting totally screwed. As you expect and probably know, all of this is causing a hell of a lot more stress, angst, paranoia, and disdain. It's getting so bad the men are just doing everything possible to thrive in this algorithmic system. To the point...
Well, they do... Oh, no. Are they going to talk about the fucking hitting their face with a hammer? Oh, my God. Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta use the bathroom. But, yeah, no, this...
Really? I didn't see that coming. I didn't thought that they would talk about this exactly.
All right.
Of literally breaking their bones to add height to their hinge profile. Or just smack.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. And of course, India, because the Indians are the ones that are suffering the most. Like with rejection, female rejection. At least it's what we saw in data, right?
Smashing their jaw open until it looks worthy of more likes on Instagram. It's why looks maxing is now a thing.
We're really seeing is that there is like this very...
Oh, come on, guys. Come on. Just by looking at them hit like that, the face, like, there is no way that fig works. That doesn't work. There is no way that works. Like, just doing little taps like that on the face, come on. Didn't they say that you have to literally create fractures in the structure of your bones? Hitting just like that would do enough.
Very
probably.
Like deep anger, entitlement. There's like this incel movement. There's this like alpha male, beta male kind of thing. And I don't know if you kind of get this, but there's like a deep sense of like anger.
Men today are more overprotected than ever before, but at the same time, less able to be themselves.
Of course.
Or show vulnerability.
The king of hammer face.
Than ever, with constant mixed messages about needing to be confident and assertive, but also to never make a woman uncomfortable. So when real intimacy feels impossible or dangerous, most people just end up with two obvious escapes.
Well, it's also that like a lot of the people that are, I think, a lot of the like male role model people are like super problematic. Like they are either like really simpy and they're just talking about how bad men are, or they actually are misogynist and they legitimately hate women, right? There's like almost never a like middle ground that makes sense. It just doesn't happen.
Adult content, which has now become a type of synthetic intimacy, numbing your core drive in life to Bonnie Blue videos. Or you go the other extreme route, monk mode, with alpha male gurus, where you see influencers taking TRT at just 14 years old.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to start off early, right? Of course.
To looks max.
So I was like, I'm gonna get my physique going as quickly as possible. I do not care about side effects. I don't care about any implications.
Yeah, I remember he saying this many times already.
Oh, this guy's using drugs. Like,
who cares?
None of that shit really fazed me.
There's even an influencer influenced so much by his love of American Psycho, he offers expensive courses to help young vulnerable men ascend.
Syrian Psycho. Fucking based. He's got 1.9 million views. That's impressive.
Even the escape routes offered by these men are roads to nowhere with heavy price tags attached.
I actually disagree with this. I think that if you try to work on your appearance and like... Did
these guys actually look it ugly before? It's something to consider. I never saw images of these guys ugly before. Just they looking like this. Did you guys ever saw like... how they were before, if they were actually ugly? Or aren't they just scammy people, like they already look pretty and they just, maximize a little bit of that naturally, and sell off all this bullshit to other people?
There are people like basically you can't multiply.
I don't know the
zero.
Horseshoe theory.
So like, for example, there's some people that are fucked up in one way or another, and it doesn't really matter what they do. But let's say you're just like a normal person. You're an average person. If you take steps to make yourself look more attractive, it will make your life a lot easier. It will. You'll get treated better. People will respect you more. It's just that's the way.
That's true, and I talked many times before that very same thing to you guys here. Like, that's true. You should improve your beauty, not because oh my god, not because you actually care about looking pretty or because you wanna look pretty for women, but because that open doors for you professionally. And things like that. That's true. Society's rotten to the core. It's true. It has been proven over and over again through data that yes, pretty people have it easier. Pretty people has more chances of succeeding and getting better opportunities. Of course, that alone doesn't do miracle, but it's part of it. And you will want to try to maximize all the possibilities you have. But with that said, I think it's totally insane, absurd, and worthy for you to go to such ways like they do. do things like smash your face, cut your legs so you grow bigger, so you gain more centimeters. Like, I'm in favor of you doing everything that is healthy and not invasive, of you doing to get better appearance, because it improves your quality of life in many ways, But nothing like that. But that's so. You need to improve the most as you can, as the way that you're born, but not like forget these surgical procedures. Forget smash your face. Forget this stuff. Do what is natural and what you can change yourself without damaging, without invading your body, without making a sin against God, because it's also a sin against God to do that, in my opinion.
Everything like this is. And a lot of people might not really want to hear that. They can still improve a lot. Yeah, exactly, right? Disagree, diet and gym. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what my point is. Diet and gym, yes. If you're going out there and you're going to the gym and you're exercising and you're putting a lot of work into what you're doing, this will absolutely increase your chances of having women that are interested in you and want to talk to you. Like, don't ever let anybody tell you that this stuff, like the looks maxing stuff, works. It obviously works. If it didn't work, then makeup wouldn't be one of the biggest industries in the world. Like, duh. Of course it matters.
All clearly indicates that there is a crisis happening.
It matters. It matters. Okay, it matters. But who made it matters? Who made this important? Who turned all of this important, huh? Society? We gave value to this? Why is this important? When this became important? It probably had a time where this wasn't important. Why now this is important? You see? These are values that are changed not only with culture but with age by itself, within centuries and etc. But I think modern society also applies a lot more weight into that.
Symptoms that dating is falling apart, and with more and more endless towns and cities designed around roads for vehicles and the loss of communal spaces that once enabled people to meet naturally, free time is just now dominated by screens. We need more exaggerated extreme content, whether it be some crazy look smack rant or watching 1,000 men line up outside. Yet whenever this issue is talked about publicly, it just sounds like a joke. No one ever takes it seriously, no one even thinks...
Because the problem is that it's insidious in a way, because it is one of those topics where you have it's so ridiculous whenever it's being discussed. Things like Clav or Bonnie Blue talking about this stuff, it seems like it's it seems fucking ridiculous. And so because it's so ridiculous and it in a way is a parody of itself, people think that it's a joke, but it's actually really not. Some of these factors are real. They absolutely are. So I wish I was the 1,000th person. I don't. Yeah, I don't. And wait, sex with 1,000.
Blue is neither a feminist nor a monster. No, she's not a monster. But say that she's not a feminist? It's complicated. Because some people, we have this type of women nowadays that they label themselves as not feminists, because feminists already carry a very derogatory fame. And a lot of women just don't want to get this to themselves. So they assume they call themselves as not feminists. But it's like I said, don't trust in people's words, trust in their behaviors. And when you look at their behaviors, it is feminist behavior. Look at Bunny Blue. Look at Bunny Blue, the things that she does, the things that she says, and tell me she's not a feminist. What the fuck, man?
People, yeah, bro, like this woman was, I don't even know how you do that. I honestly, it's kind of impressive.
So she can do everything a feminist does and label herself that it's not like feminist, and then boom, she's not a feminist because she said she's not. What the fuck? It's so fucking dumb, man.
People treat you the way you look. Yeah, people treat you the way you look. Like, in my opinion, like, I've been around, like, for example, like, friends of mine that are, like, more attractive, and they get treated totally different than, like, let's say I would get treated, right? I remember seeing this growing up.
It's like, say, on 654. Women, pretty much every study shows that women's revealed preferences are hyper-focused on looks. For every age of humanity, aside from now, women didn't get to choose. Men chose for them. Father priests usually had to permit relationships. This makes me this makes me think because it reminds me how much more men are visual than women. And women are more imaginative, stuff like that. Are more subjective, more passive, while men are more, active. But all this stuff, it makes me think like, why is like that? Why we as women, like, we care so much about looks, when men in fact are the most like the most attracted ones by what they see. Isn't that weird? Like, isn't that contradictory? It's interesting. I'm just wondering. It just make me think about that.
And I was like, this was actually one of the reasons why, like, this is going to sound like kind of a crazy thing to say, but it's one of the reasons why I'm like kind of, in a lot of cases, like a very ruthless and like Machiavellian person, is that I've always felt like, okay, well, these other people have these advantages. I don't have these advantages, so I have to make up for it by just being even more ruthless, aggressive, and as goal-oriented as I possibly can be, right? And so that was always the way that I would look at things, and it was one of my mindsets for it. It's because, like, basically it's like, okay, well, if you don't have these advantages, you have to put yourself in a position that is similar to that.
About it. In fact, society will just continue to tell us that biology doesn't matter. That's my mindset. Sex, status, attachments, presence are all just irrelevant.
Yeah, pretty privilege, it goes really hard, but like being completely ruthless and being able to outthink and outmaneuver people, it's even better.
We're now post-animal, caged in our rooms, playing out life virtually, deprived of community, ritual, movement, and unnecessary bits of chaos and unpredictability, the conditions that our species evolved in. So next time you see falling birth rates across the Western world, when you see the population collapse in numbers, you have to realize that this is manifesting itself through these weird behaviors that we're seeing today. And as we continue to struggle to even replace our current populations, the burden will only get
heavier. You need like a 2.3 or 2.4 or something like that replacement rate in order for like the society to continue going, and like we're very lower below that. Not good.
Everyone.
Yep, absolutely. He's totally right about this, and again, that's the reason why so many people have
bits of chaos.
Wait, the number is actually decreasing now. We finally inverted the number worldwide, like that of births versus death. Is it starting to decrease now?
Like the society to continue going, and like we're very lower below that.
I know that. I knew that. I mean, we see that happening here and there for quite some time already, but we still were seeing like the numbers increasing, even smaller though. But is the number actually decreasing now?
Not good.
Everyone.
Yeah, at least the content that we saw there, I don't know. Maybe just for clicks.
Yeah, absolutely. He's totally right about this. And again, that's the reason why so many people have started getting into like looks maxing and everything else. It's like basically a gamification of being able to, like have a girlfriend or something
Simple
like
stuff.
that. I think that's kind of what's happened, is that they're trying to do whatever they can to take advantage of it. And that's really it's superficial maxing. Well, you can say it's superficial or not. It doesn't really matter like what your opinion is on it. And like, let's say it is superficial, it still works. It works extremely well. Or you mean you had to play the game better instead of crying about it? Well, I don't know about that. I mean, crying about which game, I don't know what you mean by that. So you had to learn how to outmaneuver, like you said, how to be ruthless. Well, the way that I look at it is that, you know, everybody in life has a set of advantages and disadvantages. So, for example, like I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and I never really thought I was a particularly attractive person, and I get made fun of like growing up, like the way I look, etc. And so, like, because of that, I thought to myself, okay, well, you know, these are things that are obvious, like massive impediments to me, right? These are things that are like huge debuffs. So you have to, instead of that, look at other positive things that you can curate and cultivate that will allow you to overcome those debuffs. And so for me, my mindset was I will always my core operating principle that I have is I always do what is in my best interest. Like, unless I'm acting in the best interest of another person, then I do what's in their best interest or a best interest of a friend. But other than that, I just simply do what's advantageous to me. So if that means lying, cheating, stealing, misrepresenting, doing anything that's bad at all of that's on the table because I have to do what's in my best interest. And, you know, my mindset is like, well, if I don't do that, well, then, okay, well, now I'm at even more of a disadvantage. And now it's even worse. So that's the...
I agree with him. He's not lying at this point. But even so, I still not to do that. I wasn't educated by my parents to do that. That by itself makes me incapable. It hurts me deeply. Just me thinking about doing such a thing, it seems that I tearing myself apart. I'm not saying, you feel free to believe in what I'm saying or not. It's like I say, don't trust what I say, okay? Don't trust what anyone tells you. Trust their behavior, okay? But it's something that just me thinking about that, like, hurts me deeply in doing. I can't see myself doing such a things just because it's true. What is, even more? Guys, even more, if you're doing this type of behavior like him, you come to a country like mine, it's a paradise. It's a paradise for people that have this mindset. It's a fucking paradise, okay? Brazil is a fucking paradise with people with this type of mindset, okay? If you want to have this type of mindset or behavior that he's talking about, here is the paradise for you. But it's not for me, and that's why I'm moving out. I cannot be like this. I do not chosen to be born here, you know? I do not take in any of the behaviors of that my peers here does. I don't behave like that. I don't act like that. I barely talk with them just because I have to, because we are social beings and I'm aware of that. I don't like them. You know, I don't like being here. I don't like anything here. And that's why this is not a place for me. Okay, this is why I'm living. And just because I cannot be like that. I could just, you know, not give a shit and just become one of them, like all they did. But I just can't. How do I explain that? How do I explain that? I know some of you guys might understand what I'm saying. Like, I just can't. I don't know how to describe. I just can't. I cannot do that. Okay, I cannot do that. It's not something that you can just flip a switch in your head and start doing. You know, I cannot do that.
It's not easy to do it. And so that's really that's how I make decisions, right? And so, I'm gonna ask bitch. Yeah, sometimes, right? And use wealth to looks max and be healthy. Well, I mean, like, it depends on who it is, right? Like for some.
So yes, I'm totally aware that I am completely disadvantaged. Good people that do the right stuff, people that have morals, you know, that have ethic above morals, you know. These people, people like me, people like us, like, we know we are passed behind. We know we are in disadvantage in the society. But again, question yourself, why? Why we are in disadvantage on the society? Because this world is not ruled by God. This world is being ruled by devil. To the ones that are Christians here, of course. I know that are atheists here. Do what you think is best, but I'm Christian, okay? Even though it doesn't look like, I know that I'm a terrible Christian. But yes, I believe that I believe in Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and God. So Even though I'm a terrible Christian, I have all my sins and the way I speak, the way I behave, the way a lot of my libertarian things conflict with my Christian values many times where, since I still believe in all of the Trinity, since I believe in all of it, it still makes me a Christian. But at the very least a creationist. You know? So I will not like... I just cannot like turn the blind eye, become like a terrible person just for the sake of being. And the proof that people like us are always present behind in this world it serves to remember us. It shows us that this world doesn't belong to God anymore. It belongs to the devil. And the day where it will be taken away from him will come. Okay.
Some people it's easier to do, for other people it's not. At least you know up to it. I do. I totally am up to it. And the reason why is because I think that a lot of people don't talk the way that I do. They don't explain things the way that I do, because what I'm saying is it's not a socially acceptable thing to say, what I say. But I think it's very true, is that if somebody else has have you ever lied to chat? I never lie to chat. Never lie. Why would I ever lie to chat? It'd be disgusting. And so that's it. Get on peptides and HGH. I don't know. Like, I mean, for me personally, like my face is so fucked up. Like I have like weird facial proportions, and also like my teeth are gone, and they've been gone for so long that they've deformed my face. So like, there's not really anything I can do about that. But like, there are other things that you can do instead. And my best advice is, if that does happen, brush your fucking teeth whenever you're growing up, right? Because it totally fucks you up. So, yeah, you're fine. No, I look, guys, I don't want to get into this being about me or anything else. But in general, I will say this. A lot of people think that I look okay whenever I'm on camera in my own room, in my own lighting. Think about it like this. I obviously try to present myself in the best way possible. What do you think like? If you go look at me in photos with other people or on IRL streams, I look like an exhumed corpse. Like I do. Like this is just, it is what it is. Like you can go and be like, oh, okay, well, it's not really true. It absolutely is true. 100% it's true. If it wasn't true, you wouldn't have 50,000 fucking tweets about it being true. That's the facts. And so there it is. Corpse maxing? Yes, exactly. Like the drown from Witcher 3. Exactly. That's a good example. And so, my mindset is like, if you can't do that, you have to do other things instead of that. And so that's really the way that I look at everything, is that, if you're not good at one thing, you have to be even better at something else. And so a lot of guys, I think that there's a lot of sensitive guys that I don't think that have an agency-based approach on life. And I think that's also the very big weakness, is that instead of looking at the disadvantages you have in life...
It's valid for both sides, by the way. Ugly woman, don't think that it's only man. Ugly woman will need also to make some effort, to learn something.
And you look at them in a healthy and, emotionally competent way, you, instead of that, try to fight against them, you hate them, you're, trying to live in the, in opposition to them, and it's just not going to work, right? And so if you try and do that, you're not thinking
about
from a perspective.
They don't,
like, in my opinion, the right perspective is you go and immediately fucking figure out, what are you good at, what are you bad at, focus on the things that you're good at, make them even better, because usually things that you're not good at, you're probably not going to be able to make up the difference and have that happen. So yeah, my wife is pointing out all the gray hairs I have in my beard, so I have that now. Well, just point out her weight whenever she does that. Point out the fact that she's gained weight recently, and that way you can get even with her. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. Yeah, bro, like, you can't let her do that to you, bro. Like, yeah, really? Like, point out the fact that she got a few more wrinkles on her face. Yeah, man. That's the way it is, right? And anyway, then he gets slapped. Yes, definitely. And your fingers look fatter. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, your wrists look heavier. Have you been retaining water? You're not eating too much food, are you? Like, wow. And great. It's a great way to meet a lawyer. Oh my God. Yeah, I guess so, right? Feet. And anyway, you mad? That's the best advice. Yes, definitely. Gray hairs are a badge of honor. I don't know about that. I'm lucky. I don't really have that many gray hairs. Almost all of my friends have a good amount of gray hair now and everything. I don't honestly. I'm surprised that I haven't aged more. And like fingers crossed. Knock on wood. It hasn't gotten even worse. Like I basically look the same, minus like a little bit less hair. And for quite a while, because you don't have hair? Okay. Well, anyway, so it's the candy, bro? Exactly. Yep, exactly. It's all the candy. You're out in the sun a lot? Definitely. But no, I think that for a lot of people, it's hard for them to start families now. It's become increasingly more difficult. You have way more people that are...
You know what? I would love to talk with Asmo. I know this never will happen, but... I would love to talk with him. It might. I would laugh a lot, probably. I would laugh a lot talking
just not even planning on doing it. And I think that in a lot of cases, they would have the opportunity to. But unfortunately, it just seems like a lot of people nowadays are kind of like they've just given up, really. And I think it's sad. Like, I mean, I think it makes sense, right? It's like if you're over like 30, 35, right? There's more of a perspective of that. But in a general sense, I feel like a lot of those people just kind of give up too early, right? And yeah, it's like you're giving up, you're like 22 or something like that. Like, it's probably a little bit too early to give up.
I'd love to discuss libertarianism as a former libertarian maybe one day. Bro got more hair than me. What the fuck is with this bullshit model? I look at libertarianism as the goal, but it can't be achieved when we have statistics willing to oppress the people's rights. Yeah, it's one step at a time, Joshua. It's one step at a time. You know? It's like, this is why, it's because of my libertarian vein that I cannot, even though I despise porn, I cannot be in favor of them, even though I'm Christian, of they banning porn, like I just because I'm in favor of people doing what they wanna do, but also they need to reap the consequences of their actions. In case of the porn, the people watching will reap the consequences to their actions, to their lives become very unhealthy and unstable and unsocial people. And the woman doing that also will have like consequences to their minds. And to socially be judged by the others and things like that, and so they are reaping the consequence of the action. So let they do what they do. And as for the criminals, the robbers, the murderers, they also need to reap the consequence to the actions, like being murdered by people with guns, and that's but that, again, that I'm saying in a good functional society, probably these guys would be murdered. They wouldn't even be committing crimes because they know the chances that they get murdered or they get arrested for like forever or even being sentenced to death would be amazingly high. So they wouldn't even commit a crime. But for the few ones that would commit, these are the consequences that would be awaiting for them. Is that it? You don't need to prohibit anything. You just make them find out the consequences of their actions in the most strongest way possible. Just make them feel the consequences of their actions, and they will not do that again. Fuck, is that how you fix society? It's literally that. Law enforcement is one of the things. It's not the only one, but it's definitely one of the things. Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, for the incredible support to my work here on YouTube, and especially my 5-tailed fox tier member, the Holy Ball, and all of my 3-tailed fox tier members, Wallony Wolf, Fanny Sylvie, Hit Himself, Zalost, Eustace the Useful, Zealous Isaiah, Mr. NER Eden, Max Tenor, Nugutino, Avery, TBCI, and TV8. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to everyone that have been supporting me on Ko-Fi, Kick, and to all of my YouTube members. You can support this channel life and growth with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon. Link is in the description below. And that's it for today, my dear Foxlings. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.